A man dressed as a construction worker took a sledgehammer to Donald Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame today. See what condition it's in now.
And have you ever thought about posting a selfie from a voting booth? Depending on what state you're in, you may want to think again before uploading.
And students at a local college find out what it's like to drive while under the influence of drugs and alcohol.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Donald Trump's star on the Walk of Fame got a fix-up after being vandalized yet again. Good evening, I'm Sonica Bargo.
And I'm Ryan Thompson. Annenberg Media's Kristen Lago is live in Hollywood following the story for us. Kristen?
That's right, Ryan and Sonica. I'm here at the Hollywood Walk of Fame here on Hollywood Boulevard, just across the street from the El Capitan Theater, where earlier today, Donald Trump's star was vandalized. Now, as you can see from the scene behind me, still a huge crowd of people, more and more coming up to take pictures and talk about the situation from earlier today. Now, since then, the LAPD has come by and covered up the star completely. It is completely duct taped over. There are also traffic markers surrounding the star to prevent any further vandalism. But I want to get to the video footage taken on scene. In a video posted online exclusively by Deadline Hollywood, you can see the vandal approaching the star with a sledgehammer. Now, witnesses on scene say that that man came at about 6 a.m. this morning dressed as a construction worker. He took that sledgehammer and began hammering away at the star repeatedly until all of the signage and any emblems were defaced. Witnesses also say that he planned to take that signage and the emblems from the star and auction them off, donating any money earned to the female victims who were allegedly sexually abused by Donald Trump. Now, since that incident this morning, the Walk of Fame organization has begun repairs on the star, but they do say that it's going to take a number of days before the star is repaired to its former position. And as people began walking along Hollywood Boulevard and taking notice of the star, people had many differing opinions on the vandalism.
Disappointment, disgust that someone would take out their frustrations or do a publicity stunt on it. What's a California state landmark?
It's Holly weird. That's how the locals consider it, so I'm not surprised. How do I feel about it? I don't know. I think it's messed up, honestly.
I'm a Democrat, but at the same time, I don't believe in violence against someone because they're of a different party.
It's kind of been coming for a long time, in my opinion. I honestly thought somebody would cut it out earlier.
Now, a man has come forward as the vandal, but those claims are unconfirmed. As of right now, the LAPD is still investigating the situation. Ryan and Sonica, back to you.
Thanks, Kristen. Well, there are a lot of firsts this election. There's the first Democratic female presidential candidate, but it's also the first time your cell phone has played a major role in voting. Annenberg Media's Abby Brewer shows us what this could mean at the polls.
Taking selfies with your voting ballot may seem innocent.
I decided, why not just kind of show that I'm exercising my civic duty.
But in some states, taking a selfie with a ballot can lead to potential fines or even jail time. In 18 states, it's illegal to take a picture in the voting booth or of an absentee ballot. For other states, there are no laws against ballot selfies. In others, like California, the law is unclear. Governor Jerry Brown signed a bill last month to repeal the law that keeps voters from showing people their marked ballots, which means in 2 months it will be legal to snap a selfie with your ballot.
I didn't take a selfie with my voting ballot because I know in some states that it's breaking the law, and last night I was watching the news and I saw that a big celebrity like Justin Timberlake almost got in trouble in Nashville, Tennessee for taking a selfie when he was voting. So I definitely didn't want to break the law and end up in this position.
Along with celebrities, people are beginning to follow the social media trend.
I took a selfie of my voting ballot because I think we see so much stuff on our news feeds about the elections. And we post a lot about our opinions, which is great, but I think a lot of times people forget that we actually have to vote.
I first decided to take the picture because in Texas, you're not allowed to take a picture within 100 feet of the polling place.
One USC professor says people are taking pictures with their ballots to show who they voted for and for accountability.
so if there was any problem with their ballot, they could go back to that picture.
States that do have a law against selfies are guarding against possible voter fraud and buying votes. Annenberg Media, I'm Abby Brewer.
The November 1st healthcare deadline is quickly approaching, but big price hikes are spooking some buyers.
Our political anchor, Razan Niklawi, joins us with more.
Thanks, Sanika. On Monday, the government released the 2017 prices for Obamacare health plans. The average plan is going up 22% from 2016 prices, and in some states, consumers will have access to just one healthcare provider. These changes will only affect those who aren't covered by an employer, but that's still 10 million people. I spoke to USC healthcare expert Paul Ginsberg about the price hikes.
The increases are happening because the people who are enrolling in the marketplaces are sicker than what had been projected. It's clearly a setback to the Affordable Care Act, these large premium increases.
But today, Donald Trump took a break from bashing Obamacare to promote his new hotel in Washington, D.C. The converted government building is only 2 blocks away from the White House. Trump left the campaign trail this morning to attend the ribbon-cutting ceremony with his family. He compared the hotel renovation to a Trump presidency.
We turned a property that had been neglected for decades and which was losing huge sums of money for the federal government into a major revenue producer and job creator. This is what I want to do for our country, and this is what we're working so hard to do.
And Hillary Clinton is celebrating her 69th birthday today by campaigning in Florida. The crowd sang happy birthday to Clinton before she challenged her opponent's knowledge of constitutional law.
Listening to Donald Trump's campaign, I truly doubt that he has ever read the Constitution. Or if he did, back in school, he certainly doesn't remember it.
Tomorrow, Clinton will join Michelle Obama in North Carolina for an early vote rally, and Donald Trump will visit 3 towns in Ohio. For more political coverage, go to uscannenbergmedia.com.
Thank you, Roz. A new report on the women of Skid Row reveals that most have been victims of violence and most are women of color. Annenberg Media's Melanie Gonzalez talked with homeless advocates and one woman who's lived on the streets.
A new report from the Downtown Women's Action Coalition shows there are 15,000 homeless women in Los Angeles. That's about a 6% increase from a year ago. The vast majority of homeless women have experienced some form of physical or sexual abuse.
We see a lot of women who have this unresolved trauma, which leads to repeat instances later on, or it leads to a lack of ability to find housing, a lack of a support network. All of these things factor in together.
Luis Bello was homeless and says it can happen to anyone.
I just wanted to go as far away as I could so that I could survive the trauma. And it was just right there in my face. So that led me to encounter or attract abusive situation, and then finally it led me to really lose everything material and just being in the need of a home and experience shelter situation. So I've experienced firsthand what it's like.
Homelessness continues to disproportionately affect women of color. Of the 371 women surveyed in the 2016 Downtown Women's Needs Report, over 60% identified as African American.
We are going to solve homelessness if we provide housing. We know what the answer is. The question is, are we going to do it? And that choice is up to the voters on November 8th.
Homeless advocates support Proposition Triple H, which would raise $1.2 billion in taxes to create housing for the homeless and those who are at risk of being homeless.
Our solution is not about judging, because we are human beings.
For Annenberg Media, this is Melanie Gonzalez.
Well, tents are also popping up across campus this week to spread the word about homelessness. Annenberg Media's Tommy Brooksbank joins us with more on how students are raising awareness.
That's right, Sonica. I spent some time today at USC's Tent City to see how student groups are informing the campus about LA's homeless problem. Several USC student organizations created a tent city on campus today, hoping to raise awareness of the struggles people face every day living on the streets.
Some of our neighbors are experiencing homelessness, some people in very close proximity, and it's really, as Molly said, it's really easy to feel isolated on campus, to feel like it's a bubble, and we're trying to get people to realize that it's important to advocate for our whole community.
The first step to changing is education, so if people know about it, then that'll help change be enacted.
Now students can come by this makeshift tent city here at Party Plaza to see what it's like to live on the streets and how they can make a difference. Students who stopped by were encouraged to vote yes on Measure HHH. If passed, it would allocate more than $1 billion for the city to build housing for the homeless. Event organizers say voting yes on HHH is the most effective way students can make a difference in the lives of homeless people.
Going down to Skid Row and giving sandwiches is great, but the next day somebody still needs to do that. So we're trying to get students to be in the position to say, what is a more long-term solution to end homelessness? And that's why we have people talking about HHH.
Critics of HHH say the measure wouldn't provide enough housing units for $1 billion price tag. They say the focus should be on expanding mental health resources for the homeless. And the tent city created today was part of the university's Homelessness Awareness Week. If you want to get involved, the United Religious Center will be holding a rally this Friday at Tommy Trojan to show their support for Major HHH. Ryan and Sonica, back to you.
Thanks, Tommy. 5.8 million Toyotas are being recalled globally because of potentially deadly airbag inflators. This adds to a continuing recall in the U.S. and extends recalls to Japan, China, and Europe. Manufacturing company Takata is being blamed for the malfunctions. Defunct airbags can rupture and spew shrapnel onto drivers and passengers. The list of recalled models includes the Corolla, Yaris, and Hilux pickup. So far, 23 million Toyotas have been recalled worldwide to fix broken infiltrators. And authorities say Takata airbags are linked to as many as 16 deaths worldwide.
Well, students shot basketballs and drove golf carts today and got to experience the dangers of driving while impaired.
Members of the Latino community gathered to support an anti-smoking proposition aimed at helping others make healthier choices.
Earlier today, 2 earthquakes hit central Italy, causing destruction and power outages throughout the region.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter? Police at a local college are helping students learn the dangers of driving while impaired. Annenberg Media's Aaron Hendel shows us how.
Students at El Camino College in Torrance are learning about the dangers of driving under the influence. The campus police held its 16th annual DUI awareness fair.
Students and reporters at today's event were able to try activities like basketball and driving to see how they were drunk, like with these goggles, versus high, like another pair of goggles.
To no surprise, they were unsuccessful.
I had fun. I crashed a lot, but I had fun.
It's all about fun, and the intention is to expose our students to the dangers of impaired driving. That includes both marijuana and alcohol.
According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, the differences between the effects of alcohol and marijuana when driving are that drunk drivers are more likely to weave in and out of lanes, don't follow speed limits, and take more risks, while high drivers are more likely to weave within their lanes, have tunnel vision, and drive in an overly cautious manner. Not only did students learn what their vision under the influence can look like, but they also got another benefit.
Any type of contact with law enforcement sometimes can be negative contact. This is good contact.
Sitting down with a police officer, chilling, is cool. It's cool. It adds a lot of effect, especially what you hear in society nowadays.
Sergeant Lewis says any positive difference, no matter how minute, means the event is a success.
If we're out here and we're able to prevent at least one student from driving impaired, then we've done our job.
And it was certainly difficult, although I have to say, I don't think I did too badly. For Annenberg Media, I'm Aaron Hendel.
Leaders in Los Angeles' Latino community spoke at City Hall today to persuade voters to support Proposition 56, a tobacco tax increase. Annenberg Media's Betsy Carter talked with people on both sides of this issue.
Former LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa wants to shed light on the impact of smoking on LA's Latino population.
Big Tobacco focuses on communities of color, on Latinos, disproportionately in this state. They focus on young people. They know the statistic.
The California Department of Public Health says 12% of Latinos in the state smoke. But getting Californians to vote yes on Proposition 56 has been no easy task.
This is a real David and Goliath story because we're fighting against big tobacco that has millions of dollars at their disposal.
The tax on this pack of cigarettes is currently 87 cents. If Proposition 56 passes, the tax would increase by $2. One smoker told us why he's leaning toward voting no.
I don't want to pay any more taxes, plain and simple. Taxing vices, I mean, in order to change one's behavior, I think I'm totally against that.
Other Prop 56 opponents say 82% of the money allocated from the tax would go to wealthy special interests instead of education and research.
Whether it's going to the right place or not is not the issue, and that's just confusing our voters. It is going to the right place. It'll help kids not start smoking. It'll help us treat people with the health-related illnesses of smoking.
Similar propositions have failed in the past. In 2 weeks, California voters will decide. For Annenberg Media, I'm Betsy Carter.
Well, Halloween weekend is right upon us, and the big question is, Sonica, what kind of temperatures should we expect?
I don't know, Ryan, but I hope they're nice. Let's check in with James McDaniels to find out whether we need to layer up underneath our costumes.
Yeah, it hasn't been your typical LA weather the last couple of days, but it looks like by the time we get to Halloween, it's going to look a little bit nice again. We'll get to that in your 5-day forecast. First, let's take a look at your current conditions outside right now. We've got fair, sunny skies, 70 degrees, beautiful temperature. We are a little bit humid, though, at 59%. As we head over to our big map, let's go over to the east. It's going to be 84 degrees tomorrow in San Bernardino, 83 in Riverside, and Palm Springs is going to get up to 90 degrees. As we head over to the coast, we've got Malibu's going to be a very beautiful day at 71 degrees, and Northridge will make it up to 85. Now, as we head down to downtown, we will see a mix of low to mid 80s. We're going to see 81 degrees tomorrow at USC, and we're going to get up to 86 degrees in Glendale. Now, as we head to our 5-day forecast, we are going to see some rain the next couple of days, especially on Friday. We might have some chance of thunderstorms, actually. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're still going to have some clouds in the area. But by Monday, I know you see a pumpkin there, but trust me, there is sunshine behind that pumpkin. It's going to be a beautiful night for trick-or-treating for all your little ones out there. Now, on tonight's segment, we go to Cal Poly, where USC students are combining their love for horses with intercollegiate competition.
While many college students are in class, these USC students spend their day at the ranch. The USC Equestrian Club brings its own horses to meets, but each rider randomly draws a horse from all horses for competition. Judges look at riders' ability to communicate with a horse and maintain proper posture.
Overall, it really fosters an ability to listen, because at the end of the day, you're basically doing a dance with a partner that doesn't speak the same language as you. So it's really about listening to what they want. They weigh 2,000 pounds, so if they don't want to do what you tell them, they're going to win every single day.
Members compete based on skill level, and events range from jumping to walking and trotting. Individual ribbons represent points to qualify riders for regionals, which are followed by zone and national championships.
The Trojans won 7 individual competitions and finished as the high point team both days in their last event. You know, the amazing thing about this team is that they have actually gone to the national level on quite a few occasions, and they've done really well at representing USC on the national level.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, James.
Thanks, James. Well, 2 earthquakes struck central Italy today, knocking out power and destroying buildings. The first quake had a magnitude of 5.5, and aftershock 2 hours later had a magnitude of 6.1. This comes after a 6.2 magnitude earthquake hit central Italy in August, killing almost 300 people. Today's quake struck about 12 miles northwest of the original shock. One person was injured near the epicenter, but no other injuries have been reported. News reports say many people left their homes after the first quake, which may have saved lives when the second one struck.
The NBA season is finally beginning, and that means it's time to start repping the purple and gold.
And the World Series has moved on to Game 2, so let's toss it to our sports anchor, John Marcus.
Thanks, Ryan and Sonica. It's a great time of year as all 4 major professional sports are in season. And in football, the Trojans get ready to take on the Cal Bears in a Thursday night thriller. But don't forget about baseball. Will the Cubs end their curse? We'll find out soon enough. Sports are next.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Bowl.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to ATVN. The Trojans will take the field for the first time in 2 weeks tomorrow night at the Coliseum versus Cal. The last time the Bears came to town, it was also a Thursday. Because of the weeknight game, students will not be able to tailgate on campus.
I'm really disappointed. I think that kind of makes the whole experience for USC students, so it's going to be sad to go to the game without tailgating beforehand. I'm not going to miss any class, but I do have classes and I have midterms, so life goes on.
The Trojans hold a 12-game winning streak against the Bears. One of their players, offensive guard Chris Borreo, had some choice words before coming to LA tonight, quoting, "I want to beat the crap out of USC. It was a pretty nasty game my freshman year, and I don't know if you guys understand this about USC. Class is not in their name." End quote. Well, some Trojans took offense to that.
I mean, I think it's like just kind of petty, but I mean, we know that we have class, and so we don't need them to know it.
The Trojans have ruled out running back Justin Davis for tomorrow night. It will be USC's 103rd matchup with Cal, which is more games than any other opponent USC has played. Let's take this professional. The Los Angeles Lakers begin their NBA regular season tonight against the Houston Rockets at the Staples Center. This will be the first time in 20 years the Lakers will not have retired superstar Kobe Bryant named in the starting lineup. The Lakers made a number of roster changes in the offseason to help alleviate the loss. The Lakers drafted Duke phenom Brandon Ingram, Timothy Mozgov, a free agent center, and they hired Luke Walton, the head coach. Luke is a former player of the Lakers, and he is now the youngest head coach in the NBA at age 36. A win against the Rockets will be just the second season opener victory for the Lakers in 6 seasons. Game 1 of the World Series was last night, and it wasn't much of a thriller. The Cleveland Indians took control of the game right away, with Corey Kluber recording 9 strikeouts over 6 innings, and catcher Roberto Perez blasted not 1, but 2 home runs to knock in 4 RBIs on the night. The Indians were able to handily take Game 1 6-0. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Game 2. Right now, so far, over 5 innings, the Cubs are doing pretty well here, 5-0. Jake Arrieta, 5 strikeouts and no hits. He is throwing a no-hitter right now. We'll see how that goes. We won't jinx him. And tonight's game was moved up an hour earlier because they're expecting rain later in the night. Game 3 will take place on Friday, however, in the Windy City. And we're going to stay with the World Series here in this week's Marcus's Moment. Someone unearthed an old yearbook from 1993 where a Mission Viejo man predicted the Cubs' next World Series appearance. Michael Lee had trouble picking a yearbook caption, so he decided to go with something about his favorite team. He simply put, quote, Chicago Cubs 2016 World Champions. You heard it here first. Now this sounds a little too much like the Sports Almanac scenario from Back to the Future Part 2. Maybe this is the real-life Marty McFly. We just don't know yet. If the Cubs fail to win the series, this may go down as the next chapter in an ever-growing list of curses preventing the Cubs from earning a championship. The first of which is the curse of the Billy Goat. In the 1945 World Series, the last time the Cubs made an appearance, a fan brought his goat to the game and was told to leave because of the odor. The Cubs went on to lose that series, but it doesn't end there. In 1969, the Cubbies were leading in the division, but ended the year on a losing streak after a stray black cat crossed a batter in the on-deck circle. Then in 2003, the now infamous Steve Bartman reached over to interfere with an in-play foul ball. While they were leading 3-0 at the time, the Cubs followed with a series of errors and lost the game 4-3. And there was even another curse to that game when the late Bernie Mac prematurely called them the champs in that very same game in the 7th inning stretch. The Cubs have spent the last 108 years trying to break this curse. Maybe this will finally be their chance. We'll never know. All right, back to you guys.
Thanks so much, John. Marcus?
Thanks, John. Now, Trump and Clinton are everywhere this election season, and now they've even taken over National Pumpkin Day.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. Do you see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Bro? Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit SaveTheFood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Today is National Pumpkin Day, but with a twist. Halloween is right around the corner, and so is the election. So on National Pumpkin Day, one Ohio resident is celebrating both occasions with what she calls a Trumpkin. It's a 133-pound pumpkin she painted to look like GOP presidential candidate Donald Trump. And she didn't forget about Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. She also painted a 145-pound Plinkkin. Well, thanks for watching Annenberg TV News from everyone here at Annenberg Media. I'm Sonica Bargo.
And I'm Ryan Thompson. You can catch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.